You're tuned to Apocalypse Radio.
The age of podcasts is upon us, they say. The podcast election, they say. Traditional news media is in full flounder, and they're getting desperate as well as tone deaf. With me in the studio is Jerry Denim, editor-at-large for the Essex Crawler, but who enjoyed stints with the BBC, Al Jazeera, and the Boston Globe. Jerry.
Hello, James. Hello.
I'm going to play a clip, Jerry, from the Fourth Estate Award Gala the other day from a chap called Jim Vandehei.
A Twitter handle and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like, that's nonsense. Like, being a reporter's hard, really hard. You have to care. You have to do the hard work.
A lot of talk about the work put in by traditional media that podcasters apparently couldn't hope to replicate.
Exactly, James. It's very easy to set up a couple of microphones in your front room and claim to be a journalist. But I was brought up on a growing network of sources, fact-checking, protecting sources as well, you know, speaking truth to power, that sort of thing. And these kids today, they just don't bother with any of that.
Right. Brought up on it. But you're not a young man. Things have changed.
All right.
Your profession.
And your profession, James.
Hey, I don't have a dog in this fight. Or maybe I have two dogs on each side.
Two on it, so 4 dogs total.
No, one dog on each side.
Right, sorry, yes.
Apocalypse News is like the birth of, say, a 40-year-old.
That sounds incredibly painful.
A shrunken 40-year-old that blossoms like a butterfly soon after all the mess.
I don't really get the analogy.
What I mean is, like the dogs, we straddle old and new, making us middle-aged in a way. We come from traditional media and exist in new media as a new and exciting thing that is also a bit old.
Right, and
to my point, the money spent on investigative journalism is in terminal decline, while the pay to news anchors is rocketing. And they haven't even put 2 and 2 together. Listen to this.
Critics of the press are feeling more empowered than ever, to lie more than ever. I've had friends for years going, oh, you know, I'm so overwhelmed, Joe, by the news. I don't read the news. I go, oh, where do you get your news then? Epic Times. I go, oh,
God.
Oh, you get your news from a website run by Chinese, by conspiracy theorists in a Chinese religious cult. That is where you get the no. Or if social media, people lying every day. What the Financial Times does matters. What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters. It matters.
Joe Scarborough, or Scarborough as we would call him, on Morning Joe on MSNBC, talking about how much the journalism of traditional outlets matters. Failing to spot that his inflated salary could be better spent, perhaps on the kinds of journalism that takes money to get anywhere.
Well, I mean, are you suggesting that Joe Scarborough pay for investigations out of his own pocket?
He makes $8 million a year. Rachel Maddow on the same network makes $30 million.
But James, you've not answered my question there.
Okay, I'm not a politician. Don't take it out of their pockets directly, just pay them less. You don't think Rachel would take $29 million?
Anchors. The thing about anchors is that they provide context. You know, their faces put bums on seats. You know, you're leaning in too hard to the podcasting. That's just a flash in the pan.
I'm younger than you, and I'll be dead before that flash goes out, mate. It's the future.
Look, podcasters don't fact check. You know, they aren't held to our, exacting ethical standards.
Tens of millions of dollars spent on faces for bums that could go to the investigative journalism that would make Jim Vandehei, Joe Scarborough, and your argument hold water. Speaking of water, Watergate. When was the last time we saw work of that nature being done? I wasn't even born then.
There's been plenty, okay? This is a thick-headed argument that you make.
The irony is thick, Jerry. The standards you're defending are the same ones that gave us sensationalism, clickbait, and anchors earning enough to fund investigative journalism for a decade. Tell me again how the work matters.
I mean, I bet that you're going to sensationalise this, aren't you? Why don't you give me some facts, James? Or didn't you do any work either, like your new media chums?
I'll give you some facts, Jerry. Where are they? Right. Fact 1. Number of US newsroom employees down 26% since 2008. Fact 2. Newsroom budgets for investigations have been cut by 50% in 20 years. I've not defected, Jerry. I'm the same, except maybe a little more handsome. The traditional news media have chased the short-term outrage and it has blown up in their faces.
Look, we can't have a situation where anyone can just say anything and people will believe it. Disinformation and conspiracy theorists are living in paradise online, and the death of traditional media will bring chaos, okay? If you want to play in that septic
Maybe I
tank,
do.
then have at it, my friend.
Not another walkout. Jerry, golf on Thursday? He's gone.